Now, Tyler Smith joins us from thehoosier.com, and Tyler has a piece out right now talking about Indiana's bracketology chances, which that's almost a statement that's you can't use those two words in the same sentence right now. Unfortunately, I was just talking about that. It's not that there's no chance, but with what we have seen on the court, it's hard to imagine that Indiana could do what we know that they have to do for that to be a reality.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think it's been well documented. They don't have a single quad one victory. There's only 5 games left at this point, 5 opportunities left, including Saturday. So the bracketologist I was talking to was talking about they're going to have to go probably 9-3 with a couple quad one wins the rest of the way just to be in the conversation. Or he said possibly 8-4 if there's 3 quad one wins. So that's just to get them in the conversation of the bubble again. Saturday is a very tough game. The landscape of their outlook would change if they were to somehow pull this one out on Saturday. But that's a tall task, and for a team that's only won once on the road all year, there's just a lot at stake. They're going to have to win every home game the rest of the way, no matter what. And then depending on Saturday, see how many extra road games they would have to pull out just to have a chance.
Yeah, because there's teams like I was talking earlier, like Maryland, who is going to have a similar record, but they already have 2 great road wins in the Big Ten. Just picked up another one over Iowa, and that's something you can see how that they're getting better, because last year they were unbeatable at home but couldn't buy a win on the road, and this year that is not the case. Nebraska is moved up and gotten better. And so these teams have done enough. Nebraska with a signature win over Purdue. So, they just have to take care of business. They don't have to do anything special. And the more that you have those teams, it pushes you down and makes it all the more difficult.
Yeah, not to mention those teams that are kind of surprise conference tournament winners that just take the at-large bids, make them even smaller. Just a very, very small margin for error for this team the rest of the way. And the only thing, if you can muster up some optimism and think about what's possible. Again, if you look at Saturday, because of Indiana's position, this game has major importance. That's a scary thought for IU fans because of how difficult it's going to be. But if they can find some kind of way to pull out a win in Champaign, again, not a likely scenario, but if they pull that out, you can see a path. Beat Penn State both games. Again, not easy, especially on the road. Win your home games the rest of the way, and then all of a sudden, you kind of look at the rest of the schedule as maybe something that's more possible. But if they lose Saturday as expected, as they're projected to do, again, that margin for error just becomes even smaller, and you have to look at maybe a 9-2 finish. And you and I and most of these other people watching just think that's probably not at all likely with what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's from what we've seen. It's not that it's impossible, because this is a team that lost by 4 to Kansas, but that is also a loss that we knew at the time, and it has come to fruition that loss is going to haunt them more than any other, probably.
For sure, that would have been huge. Would have obviously changed a lot in the rankings in many ways, and I think a lot. This year we're really seeing how much it impacts your computer rankings when you get blown out. So even if they would have kept the Purdue game close, some of those games, UConn, some of the games they just got wiped off the floor. Had they been more competitive, the rankings change a little bit in that regard. But just a bad spot to be below 90 in just about every ranking at this point.
Yeah, and it's just this team is in a. It's not a funk. They just don't seem to be together. They're not on the same page, and it's the offense has not come together. The yin and the yang are not coming meeting in the middle in any way. The front court has been pretty solid all year long, and you can't fault the offense at that part. But the guard play, as we all know, has just been a wreck. Maybe Xavier getting hurt really screwed his entire season. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. He kind of lost his way. He got the flagrant, and then he got the second flagrant. And it's just that it's kind of snowballed, but that's also snowballed for the team because that makes it difficult on everybody. And then CJ gets that was a weak flagrant call, but that was just a dumb one. It wasn't that's not in the same place that Xavier's was, but this team is just in a bad place and mentally, and I don't know that you can win when you're in a situation like that.
Yeah, a lot of adversity. There's been a lot to happen. Of course, a lot of programs deal with different things throughout the course of a long season, and this team, unfortunately, kind of when they're backed into a corner or again a team punches first, they've often just kind of laid down and died instead of fighting. There's only 2 more games in January. Calendar flip. It's go time. And other piece of optimism is that an 8-day off stretch. Illinois has played twice in an overtime game. If Indiana, I think they had in this stretch, they had 2 days where they were off. That means they had 6 full practices to prepare for this game. And if they come out unprepared in this one, that's going to say a lot. This is a chance for them to reset, to work on their connection, as Malik Renew said, work on their identity, heal some injuries, and really put together their best game plan possible in a huge game. And so if they come out flat, if they don't come ready to fight, and if they look unprepared, it's going to be kind of brutal thinking about the outlook the rest of the way. But thankfully, they did have this reset here, and hopefully it'll help them.
Montverde, however you pronounce it. Liam McNeely named a McDonald's All-American. He will become Indiana's, I think, 31st McDonald's All-American. Derek Queen, also a McDonald's All-American, and Indiana still hoping for that. I'm just wondering, is Maryland, I don't want to say pulling ahead, but you think Maryland seems from the outside like they've strengthened themselves at least, because they had kind of fell off to me. But I wonder if they're not back into the picture.
Very possible. This has been a tricky recruitment, which it's not a bad thing. The player can do whatever he feels right, and I think depending on who you talk to, some conversations I've had, it's gone back and forth, and at times it's not just between those 2 teams. Excuse me. There's some other teams that have been in the mix at different points, but one of the thoughts by some people in IU circles is, would he be more interested if it looked like Kel'el Ware was going to go to the NBA? And that's kind of unsure at this time. But
isn't he listed on most draft boards?
He is, yeah. I think the consensus for him has often been in the 19 to 24 range has been the most average. There are some that have him higher. So that's something to watch. I don't know if Queen would wait all the way until May or whatever it is for Ware to decide. But if he has kind of an idea, that may impact his thoughts about Indiana. I know a lot of fans will say, well, the current state and how the team's doing always impacts recruits. That's not always the case. I mean, you see good recruits go to a team that's had a struggling year all the time. So I think it's more about his fit and being comfortable and where he's going to, become a starter right away and those kind of things. So probably still some time to determine that, but be good get a chance to watch him this weekend. That's an incredible team to watch.